Josh, I heard a podcast with Michael Chandler talking about his son. His wife and him adopted two boys. Those boys happen to be of African American descent, but obviously Michael Chandler and his wife are not. They are white. And he talked about the fact that he's not raising black children, he's raising men. And a lot of people have taken offense by what Michael Chandler said and have put it in a context of that he is not suited to raise these two boys. What do you say to that?
I think a lot of people that listen to our show know that Michael Chandler and I don't see eye to eye on things. We don't like each other.
Yes.
This is something that I feel very strongly about. I feel like Michael Chandler is doing something for these two young boys that they weren't going to be able to get from their biological parents. And I can do nothing but applaud him for it. And there's not much else I can say. This really is something that is important to be brought up into a house with two loving parents, to be able to be provided for, to give him the safety and the comfort in his own home, and to provide not just physical things, a car, a house, a food. Those are all very important things, but the love. And I've seen videos of him working out side by side with his sons. I've seen videos of, him with his wife and his kids. I have nothing but positive things to see about how, at least from a visual point of view, from what I have seen and what I've heard, through a lot of our mutual people that we know that we're friends with, that he is a good father. And so I don't understand where the criticism is coming. I've seen some of these comments. I've seen some other people that all through, X and all through social media, just talking trash, just basically saying that this is considered to be like a white privilege. You adopted black kids. What? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous for me to wrap my head around.
He did, but let's be honest about this, because I do know something about it. The mother of the first, I don't know about the second young man, but the first young man who was named, I don't want to say his name, doesn't
good call.
Matter. But the mother actually picked Michael Chandler based upon the fact that he was athletic, based upon the fact that he was someone that was well established. The mother picked them to be the parents because she knew she couldn't be. I think that takes great courage on her part to bring a child into the world and know that I am not prepared to be the parent that this child needs, and I need to pick people that I believe can be. Obviously, you're never going to be 100% sure, but I think she did a great job between Michael and Bree, his wife. They have absolutely been phenomenal. Everybody I know, and I've seen him with his son, that is his son. Why is it that certain people want to put so much emphasis on how much melanin you have in your skin? Martin Luther King said long ago, it is not about the color of your skin, it's about the content of your character. And what Michael Chandler and his wife did is show that they had the character to say skin color means nothing to me. I want to be a loving parent to someone that needs a parent. Anyone can have a child. Anyone biologically, for the most part, can have a child. There are some out there that can, obviously. But not everyone can be a true mother or a true father. That is something that takes time. It takes caring. It takes compassion. It takes love. And that's what those two have brought to the table for their two young sons. And anybody that sits there and says anything other than the fact that, way to go, you want to sit there and you want to bring up that, he should indoctrinate his sons with black culture. He should indoctrinate his sons how to be real men.
How can he indoctrinate them into black culture? He hasn't lived that lifestyle. He wasn't raised in that lifestyle.
Exactly.
He's got to do the best he can with what he was provided with when he was a kid. And that's what he's doing
There you
now.
go.
There's nothing more important than sharing the knowledge of how you grew up to your kids. That's what's important about being a parent, is that we have all this knowledge at our fingertips. And you
think.
You think.
But
I'm saying, but the thing is, we do.
You never know enough.
You never know enough. But what I'm saying, though, is that, John, you've got so much knowledge from when it comes to now farming, but being a police officer, to training MMA, to teaching them, like all these things, right? Woodwork, everything that you can share with your kids. For myself, it's very similar, whether it's soccer, whether it's wrestling, whether it's martial arts, whether it's still trying to learn how to do, this new math that's out there. But it really does come down, and not to make this a laughing matter, but it's the knowledge. I feel like our life as human beings is put on here on this earth is to really share whatever knowledge we've been able to acquire throughout our life and share it to the younger generation. That's how this thing works. We're not going to be here forever. For the time that we are going to be here, absorb as much knowledge as you possibly can so you can give it to the people below you. And what I mean by below you, to these children coming up. And this is something you can't share what it was like to be raised in a black neighborhood, in a black family. And he shouldn't even try. No. What he can do is give him the love that he was given by his parents. Give him the things that help develop him as a strong young man. And if you can't tell me he's not a strong young man, look what Michael has been able to do, that Chandler's been able to do throughout his career. He's been successful pretty much everywhere he's went. Good for him. And he's now giving that opportunity to share to his children. I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say there's nothing more important in this world than what we give to our children. Not just our children, but to every child across this world. Every child. That's what's going to shape this not this country, this world as we leave. And so he's doing the best he can. And I tip my hat to him for even going out on a limb to do such a thing.
Hold on. Let me ask a simple question. The people that are, putting doubt out there about his ability to be a parent or denigrating him, saying that, white privilege. What are you doing? Where are you adopting people? What are you doing to make someone's life better? All you do is sit there and criticize.
It's always easier.
You're the problem.
It's always easier.
You're the
to
problem.
Sit on the outside.
Michael Chandler and his wife, they're the answer. They're doing something. They're not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. None of us are. But I'll take what they're doing any day over the people that are complaining.
John, the scariest part is that I saw in a lot of these comments where he shouldn't be able to adopt young black children with comments like this. I said, wait a second.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So you're saying that no one should be able to adopt outside their race? Is that really what you're saying? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Are we saying the same thing to Angelina Jolie, that she can't adopt all these other children? Is that what we're saying?
Josh, look at our society. Look at your family. Yeah. Look at our society. There is no, when you sit there and talk about white, black, Hispanic, Asian, all that, most of us are mutts.
Almost all of us.
Okay? We're mutts. We have so many different types of, cultures and things that are mixed in with our genetics. It's ridiculous for someone to say that skin color should matter and be the difference between two young men growing up in a loving household with two great parents that absolutely put time, effort, and give the love that those kids need. But no, that's worse because of a color of someone's skin. That person that said that just showed that they're a moron.
But I feel like any child that can be adopted by any loving family, doesn't matter what color adopts them. It doesn't matter as long as they're going into a loving, caring home that can provide for that child food on the plate every single meal, a roof over their head.
Would you rather see, we'll say, a white child wanting to be adopted by a black family, but no, they can't adopt that child because they're black and the child's white, so that the white child goes to foster homes? Oh, that's great. What a great idea.
Once in the system, it's so hard to get out. And
everything is about what people are willing to give up in their lives, and that's what Michael Chandler and his wife have proven time and time again they were willing to give up everything for those boys. God bless them for what they've done. God bless them for, being a man to stick up and say things the way it should be. I'm raising men. I have 2 boys. Their skin color means absolutely nothing, and it shouldn't. I don't care if they're purple, orange, doesn't matter. Skin color doesn't mean anything. It's what's inside and what you teach that young man to be when he's an adult.
He said something very important in that podcast that he said, like you said, we've started to identify ourselves by white or black or men or women or whatever your gender is, or your political party is how you're identified now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Just go out and be a good person. That's it.
That's it.
It's pretty simple because in however many years that we have left on this earth, it's not going to matter. We're going to remember you for who you were as a person. I'm not going to sit back and think, oh, he was a white guy, he was a black guy, he was an Asian guy. I'm not going to think that. I'm going to think like, how was he as a person? Was he my friend? Were we cool? Did we have great times? That's what people are going to remember you by. That's it.
Sometimes it's the differences that you have with people that make you and that person click even more. That's just different. There's nothing wrong with differences. What's wrong is saying, oh, because you're different means that you can't do or you can't be something. That's just absolutely appalling.
Passing judgment on somebody for trying to be better, trying to do better for everyone that is involved in their lives. That's the lowest of low. Lowest of low. And I just want to say this one last thing, though, is Michael Chandler, and I believe his wife's name is Bree.
Yep.
You got nothing but for support from John and I and the Waiting podcast and everybody that I know, at least. And keep it up, buddy.